Hey folks, Mel the Train Tutor back in the studio and back with the Big Burma Build for a special one today because we're doing something I haven't done in a long time. We're setting it out, and we're setting it out proper. Now a load of you have gone on about, when are we going to see the Big Burma Build? When's it going to be complete? It's not going to be complete for a long time, we know that. Yeah, but when are we going to see it on the table? When are you going to game on it? Well, as part of getting myself back into things, it was like, yeah, there was a Bolt Action Day come up at a local store called Bolt Storm Wargaming up in Leek in Staffordshire Moorlands, and they're doing a Bolt Action sort of come and learn, get the grips sort of play day. Yeah, and it's in aid of Models for Heroes, my favourite charity, and you'll be finding out more about those guys, but I'll throw a link down below anyway. Yeah, go check them out. Don't want to get derailed yet. I'll talk about that. We'll no doubt talk about that on the actual day. So what this video is about is, it's about me showing off my build, but it's more than that, okay? This is sort of like a play test for me because I'm not just going to be gaming on it. I'm going to be taking it to the store, leaving it at the store, and there's going to be a few people gaming on it through the day. And so I'm going to get a realistic sort of feedback of how the terrain works, that sort of stuff. So from my point of view, from a terrain builder's point of view, this is really good positive feedback. From my modelling point of view, it's going to be good to actually see the bot. Now I've got the village well on the way and all that sort of stuff. I'm looking forward to it. So we need to get started. So right down here, you can see one incredibly bare table. We've gone for a high shot and we're going to start off with our actual muddy ground. So for that, I've got this. And this is what we're going to start with. It's a bit shiny on that. I hope it's coming through all right. Yeah, it looks all right. So this is a desert board. I got it from Deep Cut Studios, okay? And what I decided to do was, it was sort of a dry, yellowy, sort of desert sort of, board. And it's quite good because there was no foliage on it, there was no green on it, there's no plant matter, there's nothing industrial. It's just earth, yeah, and rocks. And so what I did is I decided that I would give it a spray, yeah, with the same base coat that I used for all the Big Burma Build. So all I did is I just airbrushed it and put a brown tint on it to go for my baseboard. Yeah. Now the next thing, that we need to do is we need to get some we need to get the village on it. Now I'm going to be running through setting it up, putting the pieces on. I might time lapse it, not sure how I'm going to do this, but we've also got taking it to the store, that sort of stuff, and the final wrap up in this vid. So quite a lot going on. Right, where's me there. Right. So on here we have the village. So let's start getting this out. And I'll come back when I've got it out, guys. For now. So that's the village down, and I've started to get out my jungle scatter. So here's the village. Yeah, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buildings. Yeah, that's good enough. Now I was thinking that actually rather than go for just 6 buildings, because I've got to figure out what we're actually putting on the table. First time I've actually had the village out with the jungle stuff properly on the table, so I'm sort of lost. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we'll take these and we'll put these over here somewhere. Yeah, and then we can take these 2 pens with them. Yeah, and that's going to give us sort of our little pig pen encampment. And then we've got this trading sort of post one. Yeah, and so what we can do is we can put that one somewhere like that. Yeah. Yeah, put that one there with it. And then we could probably put the fisherman's hut, because this is the fisherman's hut. Yeah, somewhere over there. Yeah. So my idea is not to use the village completely sort of all together as one clump, but to actually separate it up yeah, into different areas, because it'll give something to battle over. You know, you'll have the pig farm, yeah, you'll have the trading post, and then in time, yeah, we'll have a little fishing village. Now, foreground, who I got these buildings from, they're closing, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any more of these buildings, so this may be the expansiveness of my village. Now, the next thing is we want to sort of pad it out with some jungle stuff, and I've started to get the jungle terrain out, and if you remember, I did lots of different terrain. So we'll start off with the dense movable through terrain. So what I mean is, yeah, these sort of pieces where you can easily put models in, yeah, and we're just going to use these to sort of make clump down, yeah, a sort of path. And put that like that. Yeah, put these over. These need a wash with a brown, I think. Yeah. So, my next job is just basically start to get some of this scatter out and start putting it out and laying it round. So let's see where we get on. So, slight intermission, where I'm at the minute. Now, as you see, I'm sort of setting things out, and quite a bit of it's getting used, but I'm liking the look of it. So, if you look down, yeah, what we can see is I'm starting to use my palm trees, yeah, over here. Yeah, to sort of give this idea of a sort of open palm tree area over here. I've got the swamp pieces in the middle. Obviously, I need to move that, not the swamp pieces. The, what you call it? Spin that round like that. My dense foliage pieces, which means there's a lot of action going on in the middle. Yeah, if I move that back, I can start to you can start to sort of see where I'm getting a path. Yeah, so I can reinforce that by just arranging the scatter to make it look like this is going to be a natural road. I think I'm coming to realise that, yeah, you're going to need paths soon, or roads. And you're going to have to get back onto that because it will look better with those. Yeah. Now the next thing is more jungle. Well, here we are. I've got the basic layout done. And if you come down, it's kind of beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, you can see my dense foliage here, you can see my palms. Yeah, I need to do a little touch-up work on those. Yeah, I've got my thicker jungle in the back, which means, you know, cover points at the back. Yeah, lots of sort of like soft cover moving around. Yeah, and a general path for a road going through. Yeah, now I don't know if we're going to use all this because this is pretty heavy, dense jungle. but it does look beautiful. Yeah. And so I've got it set up. Now my next job is, yeah, this is enough terrain, which is pretty much all of it. Yeah, and so my next job is take some photos. Yeah, and then get it all packed up, ready to take up to leak. Cracking on time. So folks, it is a glorious Sunday here. Yeah, and I rushed up. I've had a brilliant morning. Just to be clear, yeah, I'm here. This is Boston Wargaming. Yeah, and it's a brilliant place. Brilliant bunch of lads. And I'm just going to take in the table setup. It's been a great. I had a brilliant first game, but let's go in. Okay, there's some guys playing some games here. So awesome Boston. Let me get through, guys. Thank you. Yeah, this is where we've been playing. And here she is. Here. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Absolutely beautiful. It's been a pleasure to play on. First game only lasted 3 turns. Yeah, because the Chindits are savage in the jungle. An airstrike, an artillery strike, and Gurkhas. Yeah. It was the triple combo, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and as you can see, there's good old Wingate watching the advance. Now, a couple of things as I've actually been doing this. Set it up in roughly the same way as we did in the studio, and it worked well. Yeah, this time what I did is we've got the dense terrain over there in the middle. Yeah, we've got more lighter terrain and open in the palm trees there. And then obviously we've got the buildings here. Stretch them out over there. Yeah, to give this road effect. And then we've just filled the edges, around the edges, with our normal sort of line of sight blocking scatter. And one of the concerns when I did this table was, look, is the jungle going to hamper movement? But it doesn't. Yeah, by moving the actual full scatter out to the corners, yeah, it makes a huge difference, an absolutely huge difference. It's easy to move around. Now, one thing that did sort of come up, and have occurred, is if you look on, if you look on these bases, you'll notice the clump foliage around the trees is quite a lot. And what I discovered was this causes a little bit of placement issues when you're trying to get troops in there. So one of the jobs from this little playtesting session that I'm running is I'm going to, have to get these bases. And basically what I'm going to have to do, just to show you, is I'm going to have to take most of this clump off and just sort of neaten it up and expand the base a little. And fingers crossed, that will give me a lot more playable space within those. Yeah, now, I've played on this side of the table so far, so I really need to see what this side works like with regards to model placement, things like that. Yeah. Well, I played this side, he said it was fine, no issues. He had a problem getting his tank through it. I wasn't expecting to face a tank in a jungle, but I dealt with it. Or I didn't, I just ignored it and killed the rest of his army. Yeah, but he said there was no real problem with the troops. But I did notice that as we were playing, he moved around the train. And the only time I actually saw a model in here was when he put a spotter in there. Now, these pieces of terrain were designed to move through. So I'm not sure whether I need to alter them a bit. Not sure yet. I'm going to see how the rest of the actual turns go. And my gimbal is doing all sorts of things. So, with this, that's the table. Yeah. This is the awesome venue, Boltstorm Gaming, and I'll catch you in a mo, folks. Right, guys, we are at the end of game 2. And it's been a beauty. I played Scott. We played sort of a chase the Wingate. Yeah, and it was a good game. Now, as you can see, there's my mate Lee. He's popped up to take some rather good photos of the board. And at the same time, I've just had a call saying I've got to go get Corbin from Cadets. So playtime has been cut short. Yeah, now, overall, as I've been playing the game, I've played it from this side mainly this time. And what I have discovered is a bit like the, bit like the palm trees. This is too clumpy. Yeah, we need to reduce that back, so that's going to be part of our little task job. So on these sort of things, reduce the clumps, and then over here, same on those. And that should enable far more movement through it. Now, the other thing that we noticed, yeah, that's quite interesting, is it needs roads. It works, it really does work, yeah, and you know, when I set it up like that, you can sort of see it works really well. But if we can include some roads and some paths, then what we can do is use those to delimitate certain area terrain. So if you see here, what we've got is we've got line of sight blocking stuff here, we've got dense terrain here, and then line of sight blocking stuff here. By putting paths in, so if we put a path here, across there, back down here, what we can then say is everything in the middle here is dense terrain, and then as you're playing, just move your bits around to move models, which will make it a lot easier to move. Same with with the palm trees, yeah, and same with the dense terrain, yeah, so we can delimitate this with simple paths, and then we can move around, and that will work really well. Now, I've got to say, I have had an absolute blast playing this. I'm a little bit gutted, my day's been cut short, but you know my life, you know what it's like, yeah. But the Burma build, it's gone down really well. Now I'm going to be leaving this here till next Wednesday, yeah, and I'm coming up on Wednesday for another gaming night. But the next thing we need to do is simply shoot back to the studio, and I'll wrap this up. So it's Monday and I have had an absolute brilliant weekend, gaming over at Boltstorm. Two major things, not just the terrain, yeah, but one thing I want to cover first. Actually getting the game, getting the Big Burma Build on the table, getting my chindits on it, rolling dice, playing ball action. It's done me the world of good. I mean, there's one thing getting back into the studio and starting to get the terrain videos out, but this is what it's all about, the gaming. You know what I mean? And even though I've been doing the terrain videos and that sort of stuff, and it's been good, actually getting into the studio, actually getting into a gaming place and gaming on my terrain with my army and that sort of stuff, yeah. Now, so much so that I'm in this sort of thing where, yeah, that works, we're going to keep doing that. Yeah, Boltstorm up in Leek, on the Staffordshire Moorlands, they have a regular gaming night on a Wednesday night. Yeah, and so I'm going to be going up and gaming, yeah, every Wednesday up there from now on. Maybe bolt action, maybe something else, kill team, get into some other stuff. But I've missed gaming, and I've missed a club environment and, you know, a shop environment, that sort of stuff. And it was nice. The guys, Scott and Ant, who run the place, yeah, really nice guys, yeah, and it was a good atmosphere. So, massive positive, and I am so chuffed I committed to this event when we first started this getting back in the saddle stuff. So, massive win, folks. Yeah, right, now moving on, let's talk about the terrain, the more serious stuff. That's what you're here for, isn't it? Not watching this gorgeous smile of mine. Yeah, okay. First off, the Big Burma Build, there were a couple of issues with it, yeah, because it was playtesting, and the only real issues I had with it were with regards to the dense foliage and the the palm tree bases. There's just a bit too much clump and stuff on the internal side, which is hampering model placement. That's easy. All I need to do is go in, rip some of it out, yeah, and just touch it up a little. I can do that easily, yeah, and then straight away that's going to increase the functionality, and that was the only real issue, yeah, with the Burma Build I found. Other than that, perfectly fine. It didn't hamper the game in any way. What was really good is the way we laid it out, yeah, with the idea of not just individual terrain scatter pieces that are a certain type, but certain types of terrain in a general area. Clumping the buildings together to make sort of a village area, clumping the dense terrain area to make passable but dense terrain, clumping the palm trees together to make, a palm grove. That worked. And we can expand this with bamboo and all sorts of things. But this technique of clearly having a clear delineation in the type of terrain by how it looks and what's on it worked really well. Now, one thing I really, really liked about the Burma Build, and it was sort of something that didn't sort of occur to me straight away. It was sort of something that I picked up on as we went on. Was that there was how it changed the way people played the game. Okay. Now, first off, I was using an all-infantry force because I was in the jungle and the Chindits are an all-infantry force. Other players had tanks. Now, they could move their tanks through the terrain, and get round the scatter pieces and that sort of stuff, no problem. But the jungle massively limited their line of sight with them, really rendering them quite useless at long range. And what actually happened is my opponents started to use their tanks' machine guns at short range, sort of clearing out people who were appearing from out of the jungle just round the corner, which is exactly what happened in Burma and in jungle combat in World War II. So in my attempt to make a terrain set to replicate the look of Burma, I've done it in such a good job. I have done it in such a good job. I mean, no, I'm not gonna make mince words now. It's worked really well. It's worked better than I expected it to work better, so I'm proud of it. But it's worked in a way that it modifies your gameplay to play jungle fighting. And you adopt your tactics. Now, if I can refine that and keep that going through the set, it's a completely different feel to a game. It's so much more immersive. And that being combined with, because it's like, you really are battling the challenges of trying to do combat in the jungle. And you could see people when I was playing with, Ant was playing with, I can't remember his name. Never mind, but sorry. But they were struggling with certain things and groupings. And, you had troops clustering on trails, which made them really vulnerable to, artillery fire and stuff like that. Airstrikes, the Chindits, I didn't even have a howitzer. No howitzer or anything. Everything was man-packed. But they were using a forward air observer and an artillery officer, so they were calling in fire is exactly what they meant to do. One of our games was a season objective, and because we got the table laid out with long roads, objective in each village and then an objective in the middle, worked really well. The other one was sort of like a capture an officer one, where we had Wingate in the centre and the support elements of the Chindits, sort of trying to keep Wingate alive, whilst the Japanese were coming on from all directions and other Chindit unit. It was a blast. It was savage. Gurkhas are savage. And so it really works. I'm really pleased with it. Now, from my point of view, this just means I'm far more inspired. And not just that, I think by actually not formally associating myself with Boltstorm, but by regularly going up to Boltstorm, and regularly taking the Big Burma Build up with me, there's a far bigger motivation to do the terrain pieces for it, because I really want to get the village enhanced. I want to get the roads done. We need roads, and tracks and stuff like that. So I want to jump on that. There's the pagoda to finish. You see where we're going with this? But because I can actually play with it, and they're talking about maybe a bolt action campaign in the future, and maybe in the future I can do a campaign map for Burma, like I've wanted to do for a while. And so there's a lot of opportunities here, and it's just inspired the hell out of me. Now, I've got some work to do on the Big Burma Build. I've got more Big Burma Build stuff to work on, and I'm inspired to work it, so that's where I'm going to be cracking on next. You might have a terrain video. You'll get a vlog on Thursday, let you know what's going on, within the studio and that sort of stuff, so I'll leave it to Thursday. And in the meantime, folks, thanks for your support. Thanks for getting me to this place where I can get this smile on my face. I wouldn't have got to gaming with if you hadn't supported me through getting back in the saddle. So, massive thank you to everyone who helped me get here. Still getting back in the saddle, guys. So if we want to keep getting me there. Yeah, the links are down below. They're on the screen. Every little helps. I could do with people jumping on Patreon and just giving me a bit of stability long term. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I'll leave that to you good folks. And in the meantime, what a cracking time. Yeah, I'll catch you on the next vid. All the best. Ta-ra.